Welcome to the Mom and podcast. We're your hosts, Suzanne Kearns
and Missy Stevens. We want to help you through everything that happens in the ellipses, from your professional life to your emotional health.
You're a mom and so much more. Let's figure out what comes next together.
Well, if you're going to have a midlife crisis, we got to get it on tape.
Right. Why have one if you're not going to record it for posterity?
Okay. So should we do a intro?
Yeah.
And then
I guess we should.
I'm a mom and
We'll do it on the fly and see what comes out of our faces.
You start then.
Okay, let's see. Welcome to the Mom and podcast. I'm Missy Stevens, mom and maybe a writer, a foster child advocate. And this week, really happy it's raining.
Oh, so true. Except for maybe that's why our
even
eyes
though it's
hurt.
flooding.
Yeah, it is flooding.
Yeah, it is making our eyes hurt. I don't know what's wrong with us.
And I am Suzanne Kearns. I'm a mom and LGBTQ and sex ed advocate. Oh, I'm also a writer. We'll get into that. Yeah. And this week, Missy and I we're feeling so crappy and our eyes are burning out of our heads. So we both have a COVID test in front of us. Mine is negative. Mine is also about a week expired. So maybe I've been just kind of as sport now.
I wonder.
Yeah. We have a bunch. We have to organize them in the shelves because the government, mails them to you. And we have to organize them by expiration date. And then every once in a while, we'll just be like, "Oh, tomorrow's the day. Let's do some tests." So,
oh my gosh, I haven't even looked at my expiration dates.
Yeah, maybe that's why you're negative.
Anybody who in my family knows me is laughing at me because I'm the expiration date.
Oh, me too.
I'm the one who's like, oh, that's not good anymore. You throw out the medicine, you throw out.
It expired 12 hours ago. We cannot eat it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it never even occurred to me to look at the dates on my test. To me, COVID and COVID tests all seems like it just happened. And when I realize it's been going on for 2.5 years.
Yes.
Then of course, there's some things that probably expired.
Yep. But my expired test says I am negative. So I do not know why my eyes feel like they're going to burn out of my face. But today's episode, it's just the two of us, but stay around anyway.
Because I'm sure something is going to be amazing.
No, we have a lot of amazing stuff because we're going to be talking a little bit about Happy New Year for the moms because really January doesn't mean anything. New Year really happens for us.
Yeah.
Or as previous guest Kara Harvey would say, it's kind of a season. It is truly our season of kicking things off with our kids who are going back to school. I have become a little bit feral over the summer as far as just not having a schedule, literally do not have a bra on right now, still in my pajamas. It is 10:30 in the morning. The dogs really want to be walked, although the rain's at fault for that one. But yeah, so we're doing a Happy New Year as far as New Year's resolutions for the school year ahead and thinking about maybe some lessons we've learned over the summer, how we can apply those moving forward, and things that we want to do a little bit differently than previous years. So,
yeah, like all of it. I want to do everything differently.
And it's a big new year for me, because my daughter is going to be graduating this year. So everything is kind of the last of the first or the first of the last, or I don't even know.
Your last of everything. Yeah.
And Facebook is just full of everybody's like weepy kid drop-offs.
Yep.
And I've been saying for like the past 2 years, I'm like, no, I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. And I am excited. And now I'm getting that you can be excited and also really sad at the same time.
I know. I have always said I'm so ready for it because this is the job, right? And this is the goal. Yes. And you want them to go out and be productive humans. And it is exciting. And I mean, anybody who listens to us knows, like, you have your spreadsheet. I already have my spreadsheet. Like, it's an exciting process and we're happy about watching our kids go on it. But this year, I mean, my son's a junior, but I still, everything that happens like with school events, I'm like, oh, he only has one more of these.
I know.
And like this was his last year to try out for the swim team because as a senior, if you've been on the team, you don't have to try out. And so we've had our last swim team tryout, things like that, where I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. So it's
I
big.
know. And there's like a football game this weekend that my daughter does not want to go to. And I'm like, part of me is like, yes, listen to your gut and, honor
Right.
the things that interest you and don't interest you. But then the other part of me is like, this is your last chance to go to this. It's the big like rival football game or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Literally, I don't think she's ever been to a football game. So I don't know that she
Right. If
knows
it's
that
not her
she doesn't
thing,
like
it's not
them.
her thing. But
I don't know. But
yeah.
yes, I don't want to put my mental garbage on her with like making her do things just because it's the last, because it's obviously not the last. She has a whole lifetime of whatever fun things that she wants to do or not do. So yeah. So going through that, looking at everybody, and oh my gosh, our hearts are going out to you if you are one of those parents who is doing those drop-offs right now, because it looks fun, but not fun. Yeah, you can feel so many emotions. God, being a parent really teaches you that you can be 20 emotions at one time.
Right. They are not mutually exclusive. There is not one that comes without the other, really, ever.
Yes.
But
for all of you who are doing back to schools of first preschoolers, kindergartners, senior years, whatever, or going to college, hats off to you.
Yes.
You got this. Your kids got this. But
and
maybe
our phones can be so good for us and so bad for us, just like our emotions can be so happy, sad, crazy all at the same time.
Yeah.
But what they're really good for and bad for is showing you those memories of this time last year.
Oh, God.
Or this time 15 years ago or whatever it is. And when it pops up on the phone and your little precious children are dressed in their little precious clothes that you picked for them, and they're just, they have their little baby faces, and the phone's like, do you remember this? And it's a tough time of year.
I'm going to have to turn off that feature next year.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be ready for that.
Yes. When I look at my kids' first day of school pictures this year, which are, to me, were hilarious because both of them were just humoring their mother.
Yes.
And then I look at their excited first day of school pictures with their like little lunch boxes and backpacks on the front porch. Like, oh gosh.
I don't even have any from this year. My children have revolted against me. Actually, my daughter said, that new social media thing? Oh, I don't think it's new. I just discovered it. Be Real.
Oh, no, I know nothing about it.
I am not on it, but it's actually, it seems very fun. I'm in a lot of my daughter's pictures because apparently we just spend way too much time together. That's awesome. It's once a day you get a like bong from this thing and you need to take a picture of yourself. It takes a picture of you and what's going on in front of you.
Never heard of this.
And you only have a certain amount of time. So you can't go put the makeup on and do whatever. Like it's called Be Real. So that's why there's so many of us together. Like it'll happen when we're just sitting on the couch watching TV, or a lot of time when we're in the car together. So because I'll see her start and put it up and I'll be like, hey, she's like, you want to be in it? I'm like, I don't know what it is, but okay, sure.
Sure. Take a picture of me.
And you know what? I do enjoy that now. Like even dropping my son off at the bus and stuff. I'm like, do you want me to hide like a block away or whatever? He's like, everybody's got parents. There seems to be this very just like not ashamed of your parents thing in this generation. Are you noticing that?
I mean, yes and no.
I mean, she doesn't want me to go on a date with her, but
they don't ask to be dropped off far away, and they will have their friends around and stuff. But at the same time, they don't want me in their business too much. They don't.
You know what? We're watching Stranger Things right now. And my kids are very much like, what, how come nobody cares like where those kids are? And do their parents know where they're at?
I was like,
80s. I was like, this isn't too far off from the 80s. This is not just exaggerated for television. Yeah. And so maybe that was it, because we did live like these little adults, like running our show. And so maybe people got to the feeling like, no, I don't really have parents.
Maybe. I remember my mom always saying like, you weren't hatched. You didn't come from outer space. You have a parent. Everybody has a parent. But I remember thinking like, no, I don't care. I want you to drop me off a block from school.
Yeah. No, I do think maybe it was a little bit of that, because we've been so present at every stage and every play date and every drop off and knowing all the parents
Sure.
and whatever. So yeah, maybe they just do have a different mentality of course they know I
Yeah.
have a parent. You're always freaking there.
Right. And, yeah, and my mom was definitely not the quintessential 80s mom. She was there more, I think, than a lot. But even so, just by nature of life then, I had a ton of freedom. I was off. She didn't know where we were. They couldn't
Oh,
tell where we were. Our rules were you show up at this house at whatever time I've told you, or if you tell me where you're going and you're going to change locations drastically, I need
mhm.
to know that. But I mean, really, we were off and running and no one knew where we were.
Yes. Ever.
Mm-mm,
Oh
mm-mm.
my
It's
goodness.
kind of a miracle we're
I
here.
know. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I don't know
Okay.
either.
So, but yes, we're back to our new year and our New Year's resolutions. And I'm also thinking back just some of the most recent episodes that are fresh in my head, some of the lessons that were aha moments, but I did not really take the time to apply them to my life in any way yet. And
Mm-hmm.
so now is the
Mm-hmm.
time to do that in theory, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to have these hours during the day. I always do this when the kids go to school. That first week is like all my doctor's appointments, like all the
Oh,
medical
uh-huh.
things that I've put off over the summer
That's when
or whatever.
like, I don't go to them, but I make all the calls and schedule them.
Yes. So I'm doing a bunch of that, doing a bunch of returns, doing a bunch of that. And then after that, it's all me. I'm going to put all this attention towards me. So I've got this super organized list that I'm going to try to work from.
Better than mine.
Okay. So I'm just going to start with some of my little New Year's, school year's resolutions.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and we've been talking about this, is writing things down. Because just like all the aha moments from the shows and all kinds of things, whenever I have this great idea, I'm just like, it's such an amazing idea. Of course, I'm going to remember this forever. And then 30 seconds later, it's gone. And
Yeah.
I've been listening to podcasts with these amazing producers of TV shows and writers and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're saying the same thing, like that. And I thought it was just a fault of my brain that, or
Right.
menopause or whatever. But apparently, this is just a human nature thing, and none of us is above or beyond it. So,
Yeah.
so I'm going to start writing more things down. I got away
Do
from
you
doing
have a
like my
special
to-do
place?
list. Well, you remember I got this really amazing Japanese
Yes.
spiral notebook that opens
Yes.
and it was going to change my life. And then
Mhm.
I just kind of put it in a pile and I have not been organized about it. So I'm going to get that organized so that I have my to-do list back because I have been trying to keep a mental to-do list
Me
all
too.
summer and it's
And
just
why is
not.
that? We know better.
We do know better.
I just talked to Mark about this the other day because I jokingly said when we got on before we were recording that I think I'm having a midlife crisis, but I was telling him the other day, I just feel like I have fallen to pieces. And the craziest part of that is at no time in my life have I had more information, more quality information at that from
Yes.
experts. I talk to experts every week, you and I do. I know what I need to do. I know it's not a one size fits all kind of situation, but I have all the tools to figure it out for myself.
Yes.
And yet I'm in probably the worst position with my to-do list and my organization and all of that I've ever been in.
But you know what? Here, I had an idea about this, and it requires us to do a bunch of work. But I think it will be I think it will be helpful for us, and I think it will be really helpful for listeners too. Is that what happens every episode? You get your tummy flip moment.
Yep.
I get my major aha moment, and then like we go on with our day, and then our brains forget, just like everything on the to-do list. So
Yeah.
I think maybe we've been kind of lax on our TikToking. But I think that would be a really great place to just house all the tummy flip moments. So
I
we
agree.
just
Go find them.
make the little 30-second video of whatever that moment was. We can just title it, put some hashtags for this is the organization tummy flip. This is the getting the clothes that don't fit out of my closet tummy flip kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then whenever we need it, we can just go there and it's just this little burst of inspiration and a little reminder because our brains cannot hold all that. And that probably is it. Like we listen to an hour show, we do an hour interview, and all of it is good information, but it gets distilled down to this moment. And I do think we can capture those moments and make it really easy to be like, okay, I don't have to remember all 60 minutes of it, but if I can remember this 30 seconds, it like brings back that inspiration and energy from the whole episode.
The thing that really spoke to you or to me that
Yes.
because different parts are going to speak to different people, of course, but
Yes.
there is always that thing where like, if I just tattooed that one thing on my forehead, if I just stitched that on a pillow and lived by it.
Yes. So I think that would be a good use of, I mean, because what we have, how many episodes do we have? 85 now?
85 regular numbered episodes. And then, of
Yeah.
course,
I
tipsies and
mean,
one-offs. And
even if we just did like one a day for the next couple of months or whatever, I think we can knock out a bunch. Or who knows, we'll get really ambitious and do 2 on one day.
That's just crazy talk.
So we'll see. We'll see. So, but that would be a good reminder that we have a TikTok. We'll put the link in the show notes.
Yes.
I know, but I find those so helpful when I see them on other people's accounts and stuff. And again, even if nobody else goes there, it will be really helpful for me. And so selfishly, I want to do that.
Well, it brings me to thinking about one of my New Year's resolutions is I have to figure out social media. Not figure out how to do it, but figure out how to incorporate it into this world, into my podcast life without it taking over the rest of my life. I can't figure it out, which it feels dumb to say that out loud.
No, it's hard because I used to do social media management stuff for clients a few years ago, and I kind of had to stop it because there was once you're on that media thing, the Twitter or the Facebook or whatever, you plug in whatever you're doing for the business, and then while I'm here, scroll. So
I've been on Facebook more since we've started this podcast than I probably was cumulatively prior to that.
Yeah,
because I go to put something on Facebook and then I don't scroll for a long time, but any amount of scrolling is more for me. And I just see stuff that I wouldn't have seen. And, same with all of it. I go try to look on TikTok for ideas for us. And then I'm on TikTok for an hour. After we talked to Catherine Perlman recently, and she was talking about setting up screen time and being really aware of that. I've just been tracking it a little more purposefully tracking it. And it's not good.
Yeah. And another note from Catherine's episode was, that's not your fault. We all feel so much shame that, I let myself spend all this time. I mean, no, it is by design. They are tricking your brains. They are using every part of psychology and dopamine and whatever to make you do this. So
dopamine hit is for real. It's scary.
So I think we do need some type of artificial, like a timer or a something that will just like stop it because it's natural.
I would really like to learn. Like I would like to learn how to go in and do our podcast stuff, and I would love to interact with listeners and people on our Facebook group. I want to be able to do that, do it for a limited amount of time, and get out and not do the rest of it. But I feel like that's just training at this point. I have to train myself that that's how I use it.
Like I do this from 11 to 11:30.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I will tell myself crazy things like, we posted something on Facebook. I have to check it 20 times today because if someone responds and I don't respond, then I'm being rude. No,
I used to do that all the time too. I mean, because that is the whole point of social media, is to be social. But maybe, we're setting that expectation right now with our listeners. We are not being rude for Missy's sanity and setting boundaries that are healthy. Like you're going to get a response from a certain amount of time during the day.
Right. And so it might be 24 hours before you hear from us again.
Okay. So I like the boundary setting on the social media time. I need to do that as well. Oh my God. Yeah. It's just a reminder. I feel like I do need to tattoo these things on my forehead. Okay. What are my other things? I'm sorry to put this giant paper in front of me. Oh, does that have anything proprietary on the back? Oh my gosh. It has a bunch of to-do lists from like 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Hopefully they are now done.
They are not. Oh, okay. So another New Year's resolution I'm going to do. This is from Julie Cole's episode, is the Eat the Frog.
Oh yeah.
Which is basically just getting the thing that you don't want to do done with, so you can just carry on with your day and not just spend 8 hours dreading it and then having to do it anyway. So I need to start doing that. And I think I put this on social media yesterday and everybody related. I figured I just developed a new avoidance mechanism. My my closet, my podcasting office, and my office downstairs, I mean, are a disaster. Like
Oh, yeah,
important documents are missing. Like
Same.
things are not good. It's a bad situation. I mean, I've got stuff here from Mom 2 conference. The dog just ate a bunch of people's business cards that are in a pile from Mom 2. Sorry if I don't get back to someone.
Right.
And but the other day I spent literally the entire day not just cleaning my kids' rooms, but reorganizing, putting all this stuff, and like seriously, there are some shelves that when we moved in, when did we move in? Over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We
During
just
COVID, but
we just threw stuff in the shelf being like, "Oh, we'll do it in my son's room, we'll do it, whenever," and never have done it. And part of me was like, "Oh, is this another version of helicopter parenting?" But my son was at a sleepover and he came home and he gave me the biggest hug. He's like, "This feels so good." And I didn't even know where to start. So I felt very good about that. But then
that was a good use of your time.
It was a good use of my time, but I'm like, I did leave some stuff for him because I didn't want him to be like, "Here's your perfect room." So I was like, here's some other stuff that you need to finish up. But I did got the 80% of it going. And then same thing.
I think we could dive pretty deeply into the psychology of that, how there are things like it wasn't that you did nothing. It's the avoidance. You were avoiding something and you went and did something else. And like, what is it about that thing you're avoiding? And I keep saying you, but I have the same situation. Like I have a pile of documents in my office that need to be dealt with and filed, and I'm avoiding it.
But here, so I think that very much of it is avoidance. Again, don't know why. Maybe because once I get my shit together, I know that I actually have to do something purposeful. But then I was like, this is also like a control issue. There's a very loss of control, the kids going off to college, all kinds of stuff going on. And it's like, well, if I can't control all the goodness in their lives, at least I can control their rooms being happy. Like, I don't know. I think there's just this weird parental, there's so much going on in their lives. And I feel so out of control about making that pleasant for them so that at least I can make the time that they're hoarded up in their room pleasant. I don't know. Right. So there's a little control factor there too. Yeah. Meant out of love, but I don't know. Hopefully it comes across that way.
I want to go back to what you said about knowing that once your shit is together, then you have to do something with it. Cause that resonated big time.
Did I make your tummy flat?
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah.
Because I really think that that's been a major holdup for me, not just recently, although this summer things went down the drain with my whole organization, motivation, everything. But I think that's always been a thing, because if I get it together, then there's no excuse anymore.
Because how could I possibly finish doing the book proposal when my office is such a mess?
Right. Right. And then I get into all of this, like, I don't deserve that time because I'm not doing this other stuff.
Yes.
Or why would I take the time to write if I'm not, like, if I haven't done the grocery shopping? Like weird things. They don't equate really, but I have equated them in my head. Like I have to, if I haven't vacuumed, which in a little while we can talk about Roomba because I want to talk about Roomba. But if I haven't vacuumed, then I don't deserve to sit down and work on a passion project. Or if I haven't posted social media, then I don't deserve to go. It's crazy what happens in my head.
Definitely have advice from a professional on this in a previous episode. And now I can't remember who it is, but we will have it on our TikTok because we're going to find it. We're going to
I know what you're talking about too. I hear it, but I can't quite.
No, but this idea of equating time that does not, like one does not equal the other.
No.
Okay.
And be doing well in one area does not mean you can't also do well somewhere else, or putting one thing on the shelf for a little while doesn't make you a bad person. Like it's, they don't all go together, but they get really wrapped up in my head. And then I lean into that. I know the Enneagram can seem kind of woo-woo to people, but it makes sense to me. That slothfulness, that I can't make a decision and therefore make no decisions, and then just feel exhausted.
Oh my God. Oh, now you know what? The Enneagram. Yeah. You know what I did? Remember how we thought I was the 6 for so long, but then we just realized that I must just spend a lot of time in the bad place of being a 9. Oh my God. So my daughter's doing a oil painting class outside of
Oh, yeah.
school, and there was like a list of things they needed to get. I spent like a whole day researching the best oil painting palette holder, like all this stuff. I totally Enneagram 6'd it. Like, which brushes are the best? Oh, these brushes you can use outside. I don't even know what the difference would be. And oh my God. And like, first of all, this is her class. Like, she should be the one like researching this stuff. But again, I can't control like all the things going on at school and like the college planning thing.
Best damn oil paints.
But I can help make this class an enjoyable experience for her. So yeah. Or again, it's just because I'm a 9, and because when I don't want to do it, my 9 things, I go to a 6 and find, what can I research today? What can I do?
Yes. And what can I like prepare for?
Yes.
What horrible outcome can I prepare for so that the horrible outcome doesn't happen? Yes. I would really love to figure out how to go to that 3 place. I want to be a 3, damn it.
You know what? It feels so good when you're a 3.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of people who live in the 3s.
I know.
No. Okay. So that's another resolution. New school year resolution is to work on getting to our 3s and staying out of my 6s. I don't know. I need someone to sit next to me and just like smack me, like stop it, or Google. I need Alexa to be like, "Are you searching for something that does not pertain to your life directly? Stop it."
I mean, yesterday I spent probably a good hour, if I'm honest, looking for just the right little shoe bench to put in my laundry room.
Oh, yes. I'm doing the similar shoe bench search for my entryway. Yeah, because it's so important.
It's so important. And I went and I'm like, I'm comparing websites, trying to find, and finally I was like, oh my God, I just need something with like 2 small shelves. It could be anything. I just need to get these up off the floor. And it, I knew the parameters of the size it had to be because that's that's the space I have. And I don't know what I was avoiding everything.
Did you order one?
Yep. I did pull the trigger and ordered one. Now, and honestly, could not describe it to you at this minute because I looked at so many. I have no idea what I eventually pulled the trigger on.
It'll be a fun surprise.
It will be. It will be when it arrives. I'll be like, yeah.
Yes.
I think it's just a simple bamboo 2-tier. It's not, I just need to put some shoes on there.
I hope it's the right one.
Worst case, I hate it and I sell it and go on, get something else. I don't know.
Oh my God. So that has been my life, and that will be my life. Actually, today I've got like 10 stores I need to go return stuff from because we order a bunch of back to school clothes. So now I have to go do a bunch of returning this stuff. But the most shameful return ever, we tried to get outdoor rugs for our front porch. And it's a big porch. So we needed one like for the entryway. Well, need is a relative term.
Right. You wanted.
We wanted one for the entryway and then for under the little couch area. So the 2 needed to kind of match, but not be too matchy. Yeah. So we had to do a combination. We got to do a combination of all these different rugs, different sizes, whatever. And so we ended up with 10. It was like almost $1,500 worth of rugs from Target. I mean, because they're 150 a piece. Right. There's 10 of them, whatever. And as we got them, the packaging says, "Do not open." Like for return, it has to be unopened.
Still rolled up in that plastic.
And I was like, you can't even. How do you know if you like it? Color is. So we did the most surgical, like, just around the top of the circle of the rug, cutting and then sliding it off, which was a more than 2-person job a couple of times. And then carefully, like we would totally blow the porch off because we're like, we don't want to get it dirty for whoever ends up with this rug if we don't use it. So we'd have to clean the porch every time we were going to roll one out. And then we'd have to roll it back up and shove it back in the plastic sheath. But we rode the whole way. Well, we spent about 2 weeks with these sitting in our entryway and then rode the whole way to Target. We're like, what if they just say they're not going to take them back?
Yeah, then you're on your neighborhood group trying to sell rugs.
Be like, who needs a rug? But I
had to do that before because like Wayfair, which I've ordered a million things from there, but with rugs, they will sometimes say, we'll just refund you a portion of it because shipping them back is outrageously expensive.
Yes.
So you can't just take like Target, at least you can drive them to a Target.
And that's why we bought them at a brick and mortar. Well,
it's
they
really
shipped
smart.
them online, but I was like, at least we can take them back. Because they're super cute rugs. I can totally sell them at the store. Anybody go
I've had
ahead.
to unload them before and be like, well, I got some money back and now I'm going to sell it for a little bit or give it away on my buy nothing group or something.
Yes. Well, that's what I was picturing. And I was like, oh my God. And I put it off.
Or
and off
like
and off
live
and
with,
off.
I have one in my laundry room I hate, but I'm like, well, whatever. I don't want to return it.
Part of us thought that we were just going to rotate our rugs out every couple of weeks. Like, okay, fine. We're stuck with all these combinations. We'll just mix and match.
Seasonal, monthly rugs.
God. And so now we've got our rugs. And what were we talking about with that?
I don't know.
Oh, you know what I think we all need to do? I'm going to redo my values exercise.
That's a good idea.
I'm going to, because
I don't think I could tell anyone what mine are right now.
I have them written in this folder somewhere, but I think I need to redo it and just make sure. Because again, it's something that it's not you do once. It's not like the Enneagram, which in theory you are that thing for your whole life.
Right.
Values change as things change. Now that my daughter's at her last year, maybe I'm going to value family time more than job ambition time. I don't know what.
Right.
Or maybe I will value job ambition more because I'm like, she's going to be gone. I'm only going to have one kid to take care of. So I need to get going. So I encourage listeners to do that. And then also this idea of the elevating conversations that we talk about now that everybody's back to school, you're in the pickup line, you're at the school parties or whatever. Talk about more things than just your kids and like what they're doing. Yes. Talk about yourselves. I think use this as an excuse. Be like, oh, I was listening to this podcast and they said that we should ask questions about like, what was your first job kind of thing? Or what's your favorite thing to do on the weekends? What's a hobby that you have never done that you would love to try out? Like,
I think it's a habit that we have to work on building that kind of conversation because I don't know about you, but I feel like even though it's not where I want my conversation to go, it just naturally goes to like kids and family life.
Yes.
And that is a huge part of what we do every day. And it is top of mind. So I understand that, but I'm out of the habit of talking to people about normal grown-up people things.
Yes.
We need to practice it.
Yes. Ooh, you know what we should do? Okay, I'll do this assignment. Well, we're going to do it together. We're going to do a list of like elevated icebreaker questions for school situations, and we'll do it for people who sign up for the newsletter. Or if you already have the newsletter, we'll send it out with the newsletter basically. So if you already are signed up for the newsletter, you'll get it. And then you better sign up if you want it, because I think that'll be really helpful. Oh my God, we could change the world, Missy. One school party question at a time.
Wouldn't it be amazing? All of our connections, if we knew something more about each other, then that's just little Susie's mom.
Yes. And you make little Susie's mom feel so much better too. Oh my God. Right. You're doing them a favor by
she's a person,
giving them something to talk about. A whole ass person? That should be our t-shirt. I'm a whole ass person. I'm not a mom. I'm a whole ass person.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then, oh gosh, Jody Silverman's episode about the moms who dare. So that could be a dare. That could be a dare. Just those conversation starters. That could be a dare. But then
her Facebook group, by the way, if you're wanting to do something like that, like it's a really active group, I've noticed. And of course, I just talked about how I want to stay off of social media. But if you're looking for that encouragement to figure out what you're doing with this next phase of your life, whether it's just picking up a hobby, I mean, she picked up tennis was her thing, or relaunching your career, whatever it is, wherever you are on that spectrum of the next phase, that Facebook group is really active and full of people with great ideas and connections. And so I recommend it.
Definitely. And we'll put a link to that in the show notes too.
Yeah.
But Judith Guiton was the one that I was thinking of. They both kind of had to do
Oh,
one thing, but do one things in different ways. One was like do one thing that's a dare, but Judith is do that one thing just to
yeah.
make yourself feel like a human during the day. And I
Hmm.
literally, for you who are not watching it on YouTube, you can't tell. I'm still in my pajamas. There's
But you
still not
can't
a
tell.
bra
It
on.
looks like a sweatshirt.
But I did the thing. I put some makeup on. I did a
Hmm.
thing. So I did that. And I'm also, after this, got held up because of the rain this morning, but I need to
Yeah.
get back to walking. Just, and not like speed walking, not like walking record distances or anything, but just walking. I have noticed, I think maybe that might be what's going on. My head's all stuffy and everything. I don't know. Maybe I think I hold my tension in my face like this, and that probably
I
makes,
know I do.
I think that just ruins the energy flow of your head.
Hmm.
So that I've
And
even
I
noticed,
sleep real scrunched up.
yeah, sleeping really
Like
scratch up. And then also days when I don't wash my hair, I think my scalp misses out on the rubbing and the warm, even just the warm water.
the warm water.
Yeah, I can just feel my head just like, so
Hmm.
that'll have to be a one thing. I'll do that after see, I've got, this is my whole plan. Gonna walk the dogs. I'm gonna get sweaty because even though it is 72, it feels like
It's so humid.
900. It's so
Yep.
gross here with our rain. And then I'll get the walk. Dogs get the walk. I'll take my shower. Face is already done, so I can't get my face wet. I'm just gonna do the. I'm just gonna do the head part. I need the opposite of a shower cap. I need a
Yeah.
face cap.
I bet that exists. I have
Face
noticed
cap.
that 9 times out of 10 when I'm like, I wish I had a blah blah blah, it exists.
Okay,
Someone has.
I am writing this down to see
The
if
other
such a
day
thing
I
exists.
wanted socks to wear with clogs because I bought a pair of clogs and they're so cute. And I wore them and my feet were so sweaty in there. And I was like, well, I don't want to wear like tights or tall socks or something like it. That wasn't quite the vibe.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I need clog socks that have grippers and that just cover my toes. Oh yeah, they exist. There's a million options.
Just cover your toes.
Mm-hmm.
So they
like
don't even go up around your heel.
They're like toe socks and they have little grippers on the bottom so that when I'm in my clogs, I will not slide right out.
The things they have.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Who knew? So pretty much anything that you're like, I wish I had, someone else has done it. So you need to find, there's probably a shower. You know what? There absolutely is. I've seen it. It's like a visor,
like a visor?
type thing. Yep. And you could wash your hair.
Okay, that's what I need.
I want you to get it, and then I want a picture of you.
I'm gonna wear my face visor. Okay, that's gonna be my problem solving thing. That'll be my one thing. But my one thing was putting the makeup on.
Yes.
And so even though from the neck down, I'm still summer vibing it. From the neck up, I'm almost a human being. And
I said the other day, I was just gonna be home, like just home doing home stuff. But Mark came in and I was putting on some mascara and doing my eyebrows. And he said, are you going somewhere? And I was like, no, I would like my outside to look less dead than I'm currently feeling inside. Like my cold, dead heart today
needs some eyebrows.
Yeah. It just feels better.
But Judith said that in the episode. It's like, you see you, because that was the whole thing. It's like, well, no one's going to see me today. And the whole you see you. I used that on my son the other day too, because he just did not want to comb his hair. He's like, no one's going to see me today. It's like, you see you. He's 12 and a boy, and he could not have cared less. But yes, it came out. Let's see. I think, gosh, is that all my? I mean, those are the major ones. I'm sure there's a million things.
But I do feel like if we can address the big ones, then all that little stuff falls in.
I think so. And kind of this idea of just do one thing, whether it's, putting one part of your face on or doing one little dare or starting one little conversation. I think it will snowball. And I think redoing the values assessment will be a really good place to start from, because that will help set boundaries in this new year. It will help set priorities. And I think I
feel like we need an accountability for doing the values without saying to the world, well, I guess we could say these are our values, but
let's do it in the group. Let's do it in the group, because you know what? You did that cute little quiz, which apparently I missed the first question, the last thing you drank. The last thing I drank was chamomile tea, but I totally didn't. I totally didn't
Generally.
fill that one out. But people were really responsive to that. So
Yeah.
maybe if we're going to send out our values list, we'll put it, where will we put it? We'll put it on social media. And we'll put it in the show notes
The
here.
big list.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
values list. So everybody can do that exercise. And let's all start with that one thing. That's going to be our one thing.
One thing
that we do is start from there, and then that will help with everything. Because, I mean, it really is everything else. Because if I've listened to, I don't, there's been a theme on a bunch of podcasts this week too, is the comparison as the thief of joy. I mean, it's come up on everything from Smartlist to, I mean, Jenny Blake, like all these different podcasts.
I'm in a spiral of comparison right now. And I'm so glad you said that, because you're right.
Because if you know your values, then
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's doing the best at this one thing. If that is not something that you care about or you value, and if it is something you value, then okay, let that be a fire under your butt to go do the thing. But if it's not in your little cage of things that you really care about, then it doesn't matter. And it keeps you from judging other people for making different decisions than you do on a particular thing. It will help you from saying yes to, oh my God, y'all, you're going to be going to those back to school nights and they're going to have the sign up forms. And my husband used to take all my pens out of my purse. Because he's like, do not sign up to do that thing. And so I am all for volunteering at your kids' schools and being helpful. And yes, but just make sure that whatever you are saying yes to aligns with whatever you are valuing right now. So yeah.
Yes.
I think that is a good step one for both of us.
And I do think we talk about it a lot on the podcast, and it is something you have to revisit. Like maybe we should put an alarm in our phone or a note in our calendar or whatever. 6 months from now, we need to revisit it again. Because I do think I tend to, like with everything else, it then takes a back seat somewhere here in my brain. And I don't focus on it anymore. And it just kind of goes by the wayside. And I end up where I am today in this like weird shame spiral of the comparison game and I feel depleted.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for that.
Yeah. You're comparing yourself to 100% of the world when you really only care about like 3% of it.
If that.
Yeah. Maybe not even that much. Oh, we had a real, I had low expectations for what the two of us could do without a professional, but we did it.
We have learned a lot from all these professionals.
We can regurgitate information like nobody's business.
Yeah, put it into practice. I don't know. We're not there yet, but now we're going to be. We just resolved that we are going to put shit into practice.
Yes. Okay. So first thing, we're going to do the values list. We're going to put it in the group today. So people who are listening to this, maybe it'll even be in the group beforehand. We're all going to start with that. Yeah. Let's get accountable to each other. And I do think, gosh, do you think every 6 months is enough, or do you think it's a quarterly? Quarterly.
I'm all for quarterly. Like a lot happens in 6 months.
Yeah, because literally it might be, I think this would be an interesting thing to look at the data of, but like, because I'm nitty gritty lady, but like I bet like seasonally you probably have different value. I mean, back to school is going to be very different than a holiday than it's going to be for summers. So like your summer values are probably going to be maybe consistent time after time. They might change a little bit, but they're probably, your summer values probably look a lot different than your back to school values.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I kind of my stomach clenched a little bit. You're so right. I think that was really wise because we live our lives in seasons. It's not all the same. It is not a static. This is who I am, what I'm doing. It's very different.
That could be an interesting exercise to do like on a quarterly basis. Okay. So we are going to put that on our calendars. I'm writing it down because this is one of those things I'll be like, this is the best idea we ever had. And then I got to go downstairs and have a bagel and be like, what was that thing we were talking about?
Oh, a bagel sounds good. I think that we can put like 3 months from now, we'll do another episode, just the two of us. It's a good check-in.
Yeah.
Like we'll just put it on our calendars, redo your values, do another episode.
Yes.
And if we do that every 90 days,
we're gonna have our shit so together, Missy. Like watch out, world. If interviewing professionals for the past 2 years hasn't got it together, I don't know. There's no hope. There's no hope. Just give it up, y'all.
What we may be best at is just extracting that information from other people and then going back to our messy lives.
Yes.
I don't know.
Do what our guests say, not as we do. Basically, yes. That should be our podcast tagline. Okay.
Yeah, don't emulate us. We don't know what we're doing.
I think we're coming at the end. We don't have any look, listen, learns except for all the stuff that we've learned here and all the stuff that we're going to learn together, because we're going to all do our values assignment. That is our one thing that we're going to do. And then we're going.
What are we going to title this episode? Are we going to title it "Get Your Shit Together"? Because that's what I feel like it has been for me.
Together. I think it'll be new school year resolution. Get your shit together with new school year resolutions. We should spend time at that, because that is seriously the hardest part of having a podcast, is like all the time I spend there, like before I hit publish, like what should the title be? So before we end every podcast from now, that's our other New Year's resolution. Before we stop, we're going to say what the title is going to be. And that is, I think we're going to title it that. Or yeah, and we promise some things in the show notes. And you do that. What am I going to do? I'm doing the value sheet.
Yes.
And the general questions. We'll do that together, though. We'll pull together some questions that we want to be asked at school parties.
Yeah.
Ask us these things, please, instead of what type of Lunchable my son likes. All right. Well, we better go to do our things. We're not eating the frog. We're just going to talk the rest of the day instead of doing the things.
What time is it? Oh, yeah. We got to get on there.
Yeah. All right. Well,
have a good afternoon. Stay dry-ish.
Yes. And the rest of you all have a great afternoon. And yes, happy valuing.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Mom and podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show today. And if you know someone else who could benefit from today's episode, be sure to share it with them. Also, please subscribe and rate us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find links to all the things we discussed today in the show notes over at our website, momandpodcast.com, with the AND spelled out. In between shows, you can find us at the socials, including our private Mom and Community Facebook group. You can find links to the group, all of our socials, and our questions and comments section over at our website, momandpodcast.com. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you so much. Now go out there and make your ellipses count.